everybody, and welcome back to Time to Go. Bob here. Really appreciate you stopping by the channel today. So today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at another watch from one of my favorite brands lately, Sinn. The watch we're going to be taking a look at is the U2, and I wasn't kidding with the title of this video. This has got to be the tooliest tool watch I think I've ever handled. Just everything from the materials, the tech they use, even the extreme water resistance in this particular case is just a beast of a watch. I've been really into the German stuff lately, so really happy to have this one on. This was actually loaned into the channel by a friend of mine, Chris. He's a local collector. He's into everything from Seiko to Rolex to Omega to Sinn and everything in between. He's got quite the collection, so really appreciate you lending this one in, Chris. Make sure to give him a follow. He can be found at Seikoholic7 on Instagram. I'll leave a link to his feed in the description below. So let's get into the U2. So guys, I'm not sure what it is that's been drawing me to some of these German brands lately, but particularly with Sinn and Damasko. I'm actually wearing the DS30 today, by the way, and I'll be doing a full review of this one here fairly soon, but I think it's the raw and just rugged designs. It's not only the looks, but the materials they use, in particular the steel, just makes these such a durable watch. I've seen quite a few pre-owned ones, and they always tend to be in really great shape, so a lot of times the cases look almost new. So before we look at the outside of the watch, the dial, the case, all that, I just wanted to talk about what's going on when it comes to some of the tech that's inside the watch. So first up, if you have a Sinn with this little AR or R symbol on the dial, that stands for the R dehumidifying technology. There's three components to it, but their main goal is to prevent moisture from getting at the movement and breaking down the oils. It's also to prevent the crystal from fogging up when suddenly going into cold temperatures. Now, there's three parts to the technology. The first is a visible component, which you can see here at the 6 o'clock. This is a copper sulfate capsule that absorbs moisture. Over time, it'll actually turn to a darker blue to let you know the capsule needs replacing. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's a total of 3 of these somewhere in the watch. Second is the type of seals they use in the case. They're called extreme diffusion reducing or EDR seals. They're much more resilient to water penetration versus a typical watch's seals. They're also resilient to certain chemicals. Now, the third component is the case is actually filled with argon gas, which prevents any humidity you might have getting into the watch when it's assembled. I just love the extra thought put into these watches. I'm not going to go into everything, but the watch is rated to withstand some pretty extreme temperatures from between minus 45 to plus 80 degrees Celsius. It's also shock resistant, has a pretty solid magnetic resistance too, so lots happening under the hood here. So to some of the measurements on the watch, the case width on these comes in at 44 millimeters. Lug to lug is a little under 51 millimeters. We have a 22 millimeter lug opening and a thickness of about 16 millimeters. There's probably a millimeter or two of that is that domed sapphire crystal. The crystal, by the way, does have AR coating on both sides. Now, to add to that tooliness of the watch, the water resist is a massive 2,000 meters, which is really awesome. Definitely don't have to worry about jumping in the pool with this one. The movement here is the ETA 2893-2 movement. This is a GMT movement. If you're interested in how that movement works, I actually covered it in my review of the Glycine Airman. I'll leave a link below to that video. The dial is a flat black, very legible with those bold hour markers and sword style hands. Love the look of that little strip of lume on the red second hand. Other than the regular handset, we also have the red GMT hand and the red markers on the inner part of the dial for that second time zone. Over at 3 is the date wheel in black. The watch has some pretty decent lume. They're using Super Luminova. I'd say C3 by the looks of it. Nice even application and looks to be pretty heavily applied, so very happy with the lume here. The bezel is a 60 click bezel, nice solid action. It's made of tegimented steel, making it very scratch resistant. It is perfectly aligned. The case is made of bead blasted submarine steel, kind of has that grayish titanium look, and same as the bezel, does a great job at resisting scratches. This particular watch, again, is very well worn. There's barely a mark anywhere on it. The crown at 4 is a screw down crown signed with the Sinn S. And if we look at the case back, you'll see here we have the U2 and 2000 meters engraved. So these come out on a few different strap options and also in a few different colors, but there's leather, there's a really nice steel bracelet, and then the silicone that we have here, ultra comfortable. I've had this same material strap on my 104 and I really liked it. The clasp is probably the beefiest clasp I've ever seen. It's pretty massive in size. I think it goes great with the overall look and feel of the watch, but I could see it being a bit much for some people. If you go to their site, there's a smaller clasp option though for the silicone strap that's a lot sleeker. It does have a diver's extension if we open it up here. Just stamped steel, although the rest of the clasp is milled steel. Feels really substantial on wrist, so let's pop it on here for you guys. Alright, so after talking about all the tooliness and toughness of the watch, it actually wears surprisingly well. Again, the clasp is absolutely massive compared to anything I think I've ever seen in person, but I really like it. I just love the fact that you can get a really nice watch that you don't have to worry about wearing so nicely. It can definitely handle a knock or two without looking beat up, and just everything they have going on internally when it comes to their tech is maybe not particularly useful to most of us, but I still love that it's just so overbuilt. So that's going to be it for the U2 today, guys. Really love the watch. Gotta thank Chris again for lending this one in. Link to his Instagram is going to be in the description below. Give him a follow. You can find me there too at Time to Go 1978. I post almost daily and you might get some sneak peeks on what's coming up on the channel. Really appreciate you stopping by today and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.